Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. Kelli Paddon says she will run again for MLA. Death and your property taxes. An eviction notice for the homeless camp at Island 22. And yes, there will be a polar bear swim at Kawkawa Lake. We'll have that in sports. Our guest this week includes Knott and Charity Spotlight and Roger Pride Jr. And we're going to talk Christmas lights and displays. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. The provincial election is not until next October, but candidates are starting to declare their intentions. MLA Kelli Paddon will run again. The old riding was Chilliwack-Kent, but with redistribution, she's going to be running in a new riding of Chilliwack-Cultus Lake. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Nothing is certain but death and taxes," and at the December 5th council meeting, Chilliwack City Council unanimously approved a whopping 7.32% property tax increase. That will include the hiring of one additional firefighter, but council did admit this is the biggest property tax hike in recent years. Last Friday morning on December the 9th, an eviction notice was posted to the Island 22 RV homeless camp. The area has to be cleared by January 31st of the new year. The camp is on the territory of Shui Village. So we did reach out to Chief Robert Gladstone for comment. When our reporters learned about the notice on December the 7th, one of them, went out to take some pictures and was yelled at by one of the residents and told to move on. In recent months, there have been concerns about crime. The RCMP have been called to that site many times. Chilliwack Fire have paid a number of visits. There's also the issue of waste going into the Fraser River. Some local environmentalists have anonymously told chillTV they're very concerned about the cost of the cleanup and the potential that the camp's residents will simply move to the Chilliwack River Valley. Camps in the CRV have already become a nuisance for many locals. At the December 5th meeting of the Chilliwack School Board, the board's responsibilities for the new school year were elected and acclaimed the board chair, Willow Rieschel, also acclaimed the vice chair, Dr. Karen Bondar. So the rep for the BC Public School Employers Association is Terry Westerby, and the alternate, Richard Prosey. For the BC School Trustee Association, the provincial council will be Margaret Reed, and again, the alternate, Richard Prosey. Now, the meeting was live at the school board office. There was a small anti-Soji protest crowd that stood in the rain trying to make their point. In an open editorial to media and the public, members of the off-road motorized sports groups, including the Quad Riders Association of BC and the Four-Wheel Drive Association of BC, have addressed the DFO decision to shut down vehicle access to Gill Bar. Now, the organizations have worked with the Watershed Watch Salmon Society about the closure of Gill, and they want to continue an education campaign. They also want to see what is called a temporary measure ended as soon as possible. Ruth and Naomi is hosting a memorial for those who are homeless, living in shelters, or in transitional housing. So this is going to happen next Thursday, December the 21st, at Cheam View Church, which is Yale and Spadina. Back on the 4th, the Mounties were notified of a male somewhere between the ages of 60 and 70 who was in medical distress in that area. He was brought to Chilliwack General Hospital. However, life-saving efforts were unsuccessful and he died. Now, details are few. It's still not known how this person died, but RCMP are now saying it is not foul play. Roger Pride Jr. is the owner of Cut to Length Home Steel Limited, but he does love his Christmas lights. We're going to have a story on that and a Christmas display in an interview. That's coming up in a moment. Also, Knott, the executive director of the Chilliwack Hospice Society and a former city councilor, is hosting Charity Spotlight, and in this week's edition, Josh Draheim of the Salvation Army. So, coming up, those two interviews, and then Reese Houndon goes downhill, literally. All that coming up in sports. This week continues with a gentleman who is normally his day job. Your day job is what? Cut to length home steel?
Cut to length home steel.
Okay. Roger Pride's with us. And but you got something called Frosty and Friends. We'll hold that up. What is this all about?
Yes, anyways, I'd like to get out there that there's a whole bunch of need for charity donations there, and we actually operate a Christmas light display. We used to be in Surrey, 17022. We were on Global News a couple times, but now we've recently, last couple of years, moved up to Chilliwack, and we brought our display with us, and we're just trying to get awareness out for the food bank awareness and the homelessness problems, and basically the basic need at Christmas time for groceries and put food on your table. So we actually have this Christmas light display that we started. We started back in 2002. My wife's mother was unfortunately going through cancer, and we put the lights on, and it brought such a joy to her face. We just couldn't believe it. So then when she passed away, we're like, well, let's keep the lights going. And then it started to grow every year. And then at about 2014, people started coming by our place and saying, oh, we love your lights. And they started dropping off donations and food.
Man, nice.
And we didn't even have any cause at that time. So we're like, what should we do? And then people said, well, you should find a charity to collect for it. So we were collecting for the Surrey Food Bank for many years. And they are wonderful people down there. And we actually were able to collect a wide variety of donors, corporate, that would actually match every dollar we had, dollar for dollar, which came into play. So we've actually had a wonderful experience collecting money. And our lights bring such joy to people. Last night we went down to the axe thrower place. And the girl running behind the counter there, she was so excited. She's like, oh, I met the people that have the Santa Claus in the window over on the house on LaBelle. So just having someone come up to you, just that 1 second for that joy is so meaningful to me and my wife. My wife Lonnie, she's our elf that maintains the display and keeps everything rolling. And
so she does the work and you do the talking.
Yeah, she does. She does most of the work, and she sets it all up, and it's her basically her design, and I'm the construction guy that puts it together for her.
Yeah. So you have just you still have the place in Surrey, or just the
just the place on LaBelle, 45290 LaBelle Avenue.
Okay.
That's where we have all our Christmas lights, and come on down. We have lasers, we have projectors. There's music playing. Friday, Saturday nights, usually we'll go out and we'll hand out candy canes if there's enough traffic, weather permitting. Yeah. And the weather gods have been grateful this year. Last year we got the display up and we got hammered by the 2 feet of snow.
Oh, right, yes.
So we went from an $800 average collection pot down to $8. So that really made us do the drive this year to promote it more and make awareness that, hey, we are in Chilliwack now. And not only there's our display, that there's about another 20 other displays that are collecting for different charities.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And charities are really hurting this year. Yeah. I know we belong to the Salvation Army ourselves, and we support the Salvation Army Food Bank. But if you go down to the Care and Share center down off on Yale Road there, we drive by it all the time, and you'd be amazed at where your dollar is going for. They got the women's shelter, the men's shelter. They actually have they feed people there, 100 people, I think, every couple of hours.
Yeah, it's
quite something.
It's a tough number to swallow, but it's reality.
Oh, it is. And if you go in the back where they actually have their shipping area, where your donations do go, and you see how much food they go through in a day.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling. And then you have to realize that a lot of the money you donate to the Salvation Army does go out to actually feed the homeless and so forth. So you're getting good bang for your dollar on your donations. And to top that off, there's such a need. I didn't realize how bad the need was in Chilliwack till I actually took time to actually do a tour of the center. And it just broke my heart.
Eye-opener. Yeah, big eye-opener.
Oh, and just seeing the people in line just for the soup kitchen. I mean, you don't realize. And there's working people that are, have a manager job nowadays. They're actually going down and have 4 or 5 kids. They can't afford to feed them. They have the Christmas hampers going on right now, kettle time, which really helps support the cause for the whole year. So we really need to drive out there for you guys to get out there and donate. I can't say it enough, but hopefully I'm not preaching too much about donations. But
does this have a Facebook page or a website? Or?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. It's Frosty and Friends. I believe it's open to everyone. I'll have to double check that, but I'll make sure it is. And we're on the Chilliwack now. Who's in Chilliwack on the Facebook site there?
Good.
And you can see us on there. We have a lot of followers on there, and also there's some other community sites that we actually belong to.
But Frosty and Friends, that's the one.
Frosty and Friends is the main, and it's in Chilliwack, BC, and on LaBelle, 4529 LaBelle. Come on down. We have a donation box in the front. We have a little food stand in the front. You can bring your perishable goods, or we'll take your change of your ashtray if you have change in there. If you have an ashtray.
If you have an ashtray. Roger, a big thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Don. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thanks for having me out here.
You're watching This Week.
Hi, I'm Sue Knott, and welcome to Charity Spotlight. This is a special edition today for the holiday season, and my guest today is Josh Draheim, who is with the Salvation Army. Welcome,
Thank you, Sue.
Josh.
My pleasure. Well done on the name, too. Well done on that one.
Well, you know, it was a little tougher, but I got it. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do with the Salvation Army.
Okay, so my title is Community Partnerships Coordinator, but when I started at the Salvation Army in 2020, I was just the volunteer coordinator. It's kind of a funny thing because I have grown up around the Salvation Army. I was a summer student in like 2010. I remember stocking the shelves in the thrift store and doing stuff in the food bank as a high school student, and then you kind of, because you grow up around it, you kind of say to yourself,
You're a lifer.
Exactly.
You're a
But you think to
lifer
yourself,
already.
I'm never going to work there for real. When I'm an adult, I'm never going to work there. And you know what, the Lord had different plans, I guess, because the job came up in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. Someone from the Salvation Army approached me and said, hey, we think you might be a good fit for a volunteer coordinator. And again, I was kind of like, no way. And then you think about it, you talk to a few people and you go, well, I might as well give it a try. And it was like, okay, this is a lot of fun. I care about what's happening here. Like, again, growing up in it, I'm invested in the mission and in the ministries and in the services. And so it was a very natural fit.
And you know what? They saved a lot of money because they didn't have to actually train you.
It's true. Well, they say that, right? When you got someone who's already familiar, you don't have to sell them on what you do. I kind of already knew a little bit about it, and that made, getting out and talking to people about it a lot easier, right? And you have that kind of natural caring for it.
Well, that's awesome. So I guess one of the questions that people probably would want to know is, what's your biggest priority at this holiday season? It's a tough time for people.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that you do a lot of great work in the community. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you mentioned the tough time, and that's interesting because inflation has been a big talking point this year in a lot of different ways, and it hits a food bank in particular on 3 levels. The first is that demand skyrockets. A couple years ago when I first started, we were doing about 300 hampers a month out of the food bank. Now it's up to 1,500 hampers a month, and that's clients coming to the food bank. That's distributing hampers to about 15 different charities in Chilliwack, Wilma's, Ann Davis, Cyrus Center, organizations like that, Senior Resource Society.
Yeah, all great organizations that you support.
Yeah, and Starfish Backpack Program too.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's the first way. Demand skyrockets, but donations have fallen off a little bit as people are holding on to their money and feeling the effects of inflation. We're not getting these donations in the same way. They're down about 60% year over year. And so the trickle down of that is that it's harder for us to purchase food to cover off that shortfall because food has risen in cost. And so those are kind of the 3 ways that inflation impacts the food bank. And so as we head into the holiday season, not only are we still doing our regular food hampers, but we're doing our Christmas hampers like we do every year. We're doing 1,500 special Christmas hampers this year to kind of like be a treat for families during the holiday season.
So what's in a Christmas hamper?
Great question. It's basically meant to be like Christmas Day in a box. So everything you need for breakfast, lunch, and turkey dinner with all the trimmings on Christmas Day, plus so all the dry goods, and then plus a grocery voucher that they can take to the stores to get whatever fresh items they want. For a long time, we did like turkey-specific vouchers. But then you know what? People celebrate Christmas in a myriad of different ways. So they should have the flexibility to get whatever they want from the grocery store so they can celebrate how they want to. And so we kind of give them a voucher, corresponds to like the size of their family, and they can go and get whatever they need. So those will be handed out December the 19th this year. But obviously that's a huge operation to pull off, like 1,500 hampers going out in a single day. Is quite the operation.
So you must have a lot of volunteers.
100%. And it's such a fun day that we have no problem filling that need. It's more the fact that, you think about those grocery vouchers, the cost associated with that is huge. Yeah. And so, we've got the Christmas Kettle campaign going on now throughout the holiday season. And if people could stop and donate and support a little bit, the kettles have tap now. I don't know if you've seen that around town.
That is the best invention because I never carry cash and I use the tap whenever I go to one of the kettles. Whenever I go past a kettle, I always tap.
Well, thank you, first of all. And let me tell you someone again who's been around a long time. It's so long overdue that we have that option for people because people don't carry cash. So there's a 5, a 10, and a 20 option for people. And so you just on your way to the grocery store, keep the credit card in your hand and tap to donate. It means a lot to us. Tax receipts are automatic. And again, we're just we're trying to help as many people as we can. One of our big talking points this year is the food bank is for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not like there's any qualification or need level or income level or anything that determines a need for the food bank. You don't know people's stories.
Yeah.
And we won't ever turn anyone away. If you're in a position where you feel like you could use a little support, we've got the food bank for hampers. And then if you want fresh, like produce, dairy, deli, baked goods, we've got something called the pantry, which is a free grocery store that you can come to 5 days a week and get free fresh produce. So, you know, if there's no need, there's no limit on the need, right? If you need it, come and get help, right?
Well, we could talk about this forever, but I can
sure
see
we
how
could.
passionate you are,
Thank
Josh.
you.
And I guess the main message I want to say is that tap your card. Their buying power goes much farther than anything that you could donate to the Salvation Army. And thank you, Josh, for being here with me
Appreciate
today.
it
And
very,
this has
very much.
been Charity Spotlight.
Chill Sports' Jared Schmidt of Ottawa racing to first place last Friday at the FIS Ski Cross World Cup in Val Thorens, France. The defending Crystal Globe winner, Cultus Lake's own Reese Houndon, placed sixth. Now, Ski Cross returned to action this past Tuesday in Switzerland, and at that race, Reese finished second. So the next race for him and everybody else, December 21st and 22nd in Italy. A call out to all Fraser Valley fastball umpires. The training season is just around the corner. Chilliwack Minor Fast Pitch have now set up weekly training sessions. They'll be on Sunday nights starting January the 7th in Abbotsford. Paige Cross and his company will be holding weekly sessions from 6 to 8. That again, Sunday at the Abbotsford Exhibition Park Cadets Hall. A big thank you to Matthew Hawkins for this photo. ASW All-Star Wrestling returning to Chilliwack in 2024 for Game Over, man. Now, this event is Saturday, February the 3rd, with ASW coming back. So you can see a triple threat ladder match and the main event with the Cruiserweight Champion Battle Wasp defending against Abbotsford's Donnie Deeds and Chilliwack's Sean Murphy. Gotta love those names. And let's be honest, you've always wanted to make 2024 the year you do it. The annual Polar Bear Swim will take place Kawkawa Lake January the 1st. Hope Lions Club bringing the heat and the hot chocolate. And bring a few dollars to show some support. Organizers are asking everybody to show up around 11:30. And then at high noon, the slightly crazy and possibly hungover do the countdown, and then in you go. It is a family-friendly event, and there's no pressure to get in the water. Coming up, Cari with the weather. ChillTV weekend weather. So, Cari, are we looking at another super soaker weekend?
Thanks, Don. Weather this weekend, it looks like it's going to be okay with sun and clouds, so you can go out and get your Christmas tree and not get completely soaked. But by Monday, we're back to rain. Highs of around 10, but down to about 4. My fun fact of the week, 1 billion tons of precipitation falls every single minute on Earth. I know it felt like that was happening just in the Fraser Valley last week, so here's hoping next week's rain isn't as much as we thought it was going to be. Back to you, Don.
Thanks, Cari, and thank you for watching. If you have a local news story you'd like us to report on, you can always send us a note and your pictures and video to news@chilltv.ca. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. I'm Don Lehn.